Hey everybody, this is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous good-looking friends. So Russell Brand dropped a video not too long ago, and I have to say it is distressing to me to see the seriousness of what has happened to him. I actually have been doing some research around this, and this is going to get nasty. And I think that Russell Brand is the right one to take on what is happening to all of us at this moment online with the constant pressure of censorship.
By now, you're probably aware that the British government have asked big tech platforms to censor our online content, and that some online platforms have complied with that request. What you may not know is that this happens in the context of the Online Safety Bill, which is a piece of UK legislation that grants sweeping surveillance and censorship powers, and it's a law that has already been passed.
Now, many of you know about the letters that Caroline Dinenage, I call her Dingleberry because what she has done is absolutely appalling, but did you guys know that this is the woman who had spearheaded this online safety bill back in 2021? As you can see here, she has been lauded for being a pioneer for it. What I think happened here was a coordinated attempt to distract the public from getting this bill through Parliament this week. So this distraction with Russell Brand and him being accused and not convicted, by the way, not guilty or been arrested in any way, but was accused of all these things as a distraction. So this bill quietly passed on September 19th, this past Tuesday. Now, this shitstorm with Russell Brand all began as of Sunday night into Monday with that Dispatches documentary accusing him. We don't know if he is guilty. There has been no arrests. There has been no trial, no kind of conviction, or even evidence put forward to indicate that he is guilty of these charges. But the way that the media has blown this up to distract the rest of the public, especially in the UK, has given this bill to slide through quietly. And let me tell you that I don't think it's a coincidence that this woman, Dingleberry, as I will call her, went ahead and sent all these letters out to cause a distraction in order for it to complete the parliamentary stages in both the houses. And now this bill is ready to receive the royal assent. This is when the king formally agrees to make the bill into an act of parliament. So currently, right now, where it stands, this 225-page bill that I have been reading with a fine-tooth comb today will get put into law. And let me tell you something. I am afraid of what I'm reading here and what the effects this will have on freedom of speech, not only for the people of the UK, but also for the rest of the Western world, including the United States. This threatens our freedom of speech and our First Amendment. From what I understand is that this is in its final stages, and it really is now on the king's head to go ahead and sign this for this to become official. As of September 20th, this article says that the UK Online Safety Bill is to receive the royal assent after passing through Parliament, this is like the final stages. And in this paragraph, it says that the UK Online Safety Bill completed its parliamentary passage Tuesday and is now set to receive royal assent. After passing this last step, the bill, which introduces new strict requirements for social media platforms to remove particular content, will be law in the UK. So right now, folks, this is a yay or nay with one final signature, and that is King Charles. Now, many of you say to me, oh, he doesn't have any influence on the government. They're just the face of Britain. This is something in your face that everybody needs to understand, the influence that this family has on the rest of the world. After I finish going through this bill, I'm going to get into how this is going to affect the First Amendment here in the United States and all the work that Harry and Meghan have been doing to tear down our Constitution.
I also don't imagine you've heard of the Trusted News Initiative. Now, as is often the case when a word like trusted is used as part of an acronym to describe an unelected body, trust is the last thing you should be offering. The Trusted News Initiative is a collaboration between big tech and legacy media organisations to target, control, choke and shut down independent media organisations, like this one.
Now, I highly doubt that the king fully understands what's in these 225 pages of this bill. I believe that he will sign it blindly, not understanding the full repercussions and consequences that this is going to have on the rest of the world. Or maybe he does and is just turning a blind eye and doing what the status quo is, business as usual. But what I can tell you is that in this document itself, just initially going through it, is going to encroach more on your privacy. It's going to encroach more on silencing your views and opinions and your ability down the road to function in society. I don't know if it's too late to call upon the king to put a freeze on this so people can discuss it more, or they're just going to go ahead and push this through as quickly as possible because we're literally in the very, very final stages. I mean, it's practically done. The only thing that's left is King Charles's John Hancock put on there and it be signed, sealed, delivered. Let's hope that that hasn't happened yet. I just would like to add that Dingleberry's husband is Mark Lancaster. He's a fellow information warrior dedicated to advancing the propaganda goals of the British government. Lancaster had reportedly left his wife and 4-month-old daughter in 2013 when he began dating Caroline Dinenage, stand-up guy, who was herself married at the time to a British naval officer. Class. He's a former Conservative MP and Armed Forces Minister, and Lancaster helped lead London's blitz on pandemic descent as Deputy Commander of the British Army 77th Brigade between June 2018 and July 2022. FYI. This is all getting very sinister, in my opinion.
But just to give you an idea of what the TNI is, this is a quote from one of their spokespeople. Because the actual real rivalry now is not between the BBC and CNN globally, it's actually between all trusted news providers and digital platforms. It's clear that these organisations collaborate in constructing narratives, whether that's around the war or the pandemic, and of course there are other examples. And it's very clear to me that we have to be very, very cautious indeed. That's why I'm asking you to follow me on Rumble.
I'm really happy that Rumble is supporting free speech, but my concern is that once this law gets passed and goes into effect, Rumble is not going to be immune to it either, because technically, if there's content that touches the UK from Rumble, there is a chance that Rumble could be in violation of the law and could have consequences as well. And I will get into a video explaining how this is possible, as well as how your rights are going to be affected, even if you are not part of the UK.
Rumble have made a clear commitment to free speech, and Rumble is the primary platform that we will be streaming from. We'll be talking about deep state and corporate collusion, and how ordinary democracy is anathema now, how it's shut down, ignored and avoided. We'll be talking about a military-industrial complex that is able to facilitate and start wars that seem sometimes to be little more than money laundering operations. And that's with all respect to the hundreds of thousands of victims of the numerous ongoing wars in the world at the moment. We'll be talking about the role of Big Pharma and how Big Pharma have been able to influence government policy around the world and how they've been able to evade due liability and necessary scrutiny, how they've been able to avoid media investigation that perhaps ought be due them. And of course, we'll be talking about media corruption and censorship. So please follow me on Rumble.
I think we all need to start getting over to Rumble. I do have an account over there, not under the royal griff, but keep NYC Mega Trash free. If you want to follow me over there, I'll go ahead and link that channel down below. I do need to add more videos to there because at any point, this channel can get shut down. And if that happens, you guys need to find where I'm at. So at least that's a place that I feel for now seems a bit secure and safe.
Because that's the only way that we can keep our voice. You can go to rb.rumble.com to support me directly and keep me and our channel independent.
I think Russell Brand is the hornet's nest that these elites have stepped on, and it sure looks like he's going to come back swinging even harder to expose the corruption that is happening and what we're seeing. Look, you don't have to like him and you don't have to listen to what he says, but acknowledge the fact that what's happening to him is wrong. And if it can happen to him, this can happen to anyone. And I'm glad that he's fighting back because he has the resources to do so. Let's think about our friends like Trevor Colt, Yankee Wally, and so many others who have been deplatformed and who have been silenced over stupid shit like Meghan Markle. Folks, let's not forget that they banned my cartoons, Zirconia and the Sparkles. This came from artistic expression. There was no names or specific people listed in them. So if they could do that and take away your artistic expression, I didn't like being penalized for using my God-given talents in artistic expression, all because somebody doesn't have a sense of humor or, is so offended and has power to take that away from someone. To me, that's control, which equals slavery, and I'm not a slave, and I don't think any of you guys want to be slaves. So please, I'm asking you, start paying attention to this stuff. It is important because it affects every single one of us. And if I were you in the UK, and if it is possible, to write to the king to tell him not to give this royal assent to make this bill go into effect. I don't know if it's too late, but all we can do is try. Anyhow, this was just a quick video. I thought I would share. I think this is really important to get the word out, but definitely leave your comments in the section below. And as always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe and I will talk to you later. Bye.
It was such a fraud.